Hey guys, I'm late. I'm so sorry. Can
We thought you
everybody
got
hear
us.
me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. I just was caught in something else and just totally forgot. So here I am, a little late. I'm going to share my screen. I do the compliance coordination for the whole office. And I just check everybody's documents for accuracy, and I will send them back to you if something needs to be corrected. Let me get over here and share my screen. Can you see my command on here?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is what I do. Okay, sorry guys. So I check everybody's documents. Obviously, this one is already approved. Let me go back. So you see this one here is it needs to be resubmitted. Let me get one that's just fresh off the press. Okay, so I'm gonna review this document. So this is a listing in North Carolina. All right, so if you does anybody have any transactions going now?
I have
I
a
do.
listing.
I have a buyer.
Okay, good. Good. So you'll need to put those into command. Do you all know how to put an opportunity into command?
Yeah, I put a
Yes.
lot of it in already.
Okay, good. So just briefly, you go in, if you're going into your own command, you're going to make sure that you have that contact, okay, in there, and search for the contact. I'm just going to use right there. And then you fill out as much as you can on the in the command on the contact information, and then you go over to the right side over here where it says opportunities, and you click on that. Of course, if you don't have any opportunities, you're going to create one, which is over here. So create the opportunity. All right, and then you're going to fill in all the information there. And from there, you would go to your opportunity. So if you already have one and you need to go to it, you can either go to it from the contact, which is here, and click on that, and it takes you over to the opportunities. It takes you to that, just that one, okay? If you need to just go over to it from the opportunity itself, you click on this little handshake, and it'll give you what you need. You have the listings here, the buyers and leases. We don't need to put leases in there too much. As long as you have on a lease, you have the MLS sheet that says it's closed, or I forget what it says on a lease, rented or whatever, or application accepted, I think it says. And then from there, you and then with the lease, you just put the MLS sheet, give it to Lynn, and she'll know it's from you. Okay. You can either look up your opportunity this way, or you can just do a line by line, and there's all of your opportunities and just choose the correct one. Okay. So I'm going to go back over into the MC one and show you what I do. So again, let me go back to this one here. so she's already got a listing in and it's already approved. When you have a listing, make sure you're checking the right checklist, because it'll be blank and it'll ask you to choose your checklist. So you're going to click here and you're going to pick the right one. If it's a land, then pick the land one, either North or South Carolina. Most of us don't do commercial, so you can just leave those go. If you have a North Carolina listing, you put it here, and or South Carolina listing. Okay, so those are your options, and she has a North Carolina listing. Okay, so over here, these are all the placeholders that are possible to have documents for this transaction. Okay, so this is the whole list of them. But the ones that are required, if you look over here at the requirement tab and you see all these ones that are kind of red and it says required, well, that means they're required. So they're required to be in there for compliance, okay? And the ones that say conditional, obviously, the ones that say conditional, there's usually a little information little button here. If you hover over it, it'll tell you what it's for. So if there's any changes to the listing, then you'll need to have the agency agreement renewal and amendment. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to that, so that you have all these documents in there. Once you submit a document into Command, especially the working with real estate agents and the listing agreement or the buyer agency agreement, you should submit those. So you're going to go to a little button up here that says submit to MC, okay? Or submit for review or something like that. So you're going to press that, because that's got to be done within 3 days of signing. Okay, so once you have the buyer agency agreement or the listing agreement signed, you'll need to put those into Command and submit it for us to review. Okay. Make sure you do that. That's the law. That's a North Carolina law, that it has to be submitted within 3 days. Okay. So, and then the other documents. So what'll happen is I'll review those, and if they're wrong, I'll give you a message as to why they're wrong and what needs to be corrected. But if they're correct, I'll have this little approved. You'll see that it's approved. Okay. And once you, I'll still over here, instead of approved, I will hit returned. Why would it be returned? Well, all the other documents aren't in there yet. So I can't approve just the 2 documents. I have to be able to approve the whole. In order for this to say approved, all the documents have to be in there. Is that that's not a punishment or anything like that. It's something that just needs to be done. It means that you still have documents to submit. It's not a crime to have it returned. Okay. So and then you go down the list. So all the ones that are required, she has put in there. Okay. And then it's all submitted and approved. Now, I don't know if she has any no, she doesn't have any extra documents. So there's sometimes in these forms that there's not a placeholder for it. I can't think of anything from the listing. Maybe if you have HOA documents like the CCRs or something, they don't really need to be in this part which is where we work from. And this is the documents that I will check. If you have something like the CCRs or HOA information that you want to put in here, just to keep it all together, you just hit add a custom folder. So then you name the folder, whatever you want to name, you put it CCRs, HOA docs, and create the folder. So I'll just name it CCR, create the folder. And then right here, you'll click on it again, and then you can add the document there. If you add a document, you'll notice that it doesn't have anywhere for me to check. So make sure that those documents are not something that needs to be reviewed. Okay. Does that make sense? Any questions so far?
That makes sense. My only question is, like, when we submit it, do you want us to wait until we have everything, or you could just hit return every time we don't have it all filled out yet?
Yeah,
how do you
I'll definitely, if everything's not correct or if everything's not in there, it'll basically be returned. And I've done that. People, I will submit one document because when I check it, I check all the changed folders as well.
Okay.
So once you submit something, even though it's been returned, if you put anything in there or change anything, it'll say changed.
Gotcha.
And I'll check it. So you don't really have to hit resubmit each time.
Okay.
Okay.
How long does it take you, once we submit something, that you take a look at it?
Well, I'm pretty much caught up. So it's within a day.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a couple days, depending on how busy it is and how busy I am. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, all these documents you need to submit within 7 days or 7 days before closing. Okay. So let's say you have the working with real estate agent and the listing agreement in there. You should have all these the listing documents in well before closing. So just make sure you have everything in there. I'll know if it's not in MLS, then it should be a firm exclusive. Okay, and that's on the listing agreement. Everybody, and that's, do you guys go to the T group partners? Do you go?
Yes.
Do you go to your meetings there? Because
Yeah, I do.
yeah, good. Then you'll know how to fill out the forms. But this is a kind of I'm almost always having to return these documents, the listing agreement for sure, when they're using either coming soon or firm exclusive. And I'll show you on the listing agreement what I'm talking about. And I know everybody it is confusing in a way, but on page 5 of the listing agreement, on number 10, there's a commencement of marketing date. Now, if you're using coming soon, you're still marketing it and it's being shown in MLS as coming soon. So you're marketing it as coming soon. Okay. So that means the commencement of marketing date is the first day of coming soon. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. So, did she use it? No, she didn't use coming soon. So if this date was 11/1 and she wanted to use coming soon and start the actual showings and all that on 11/8, then she would have checked this box and put 11/8 in here. Even though it says coming soon advertising, that means you're commencing on the marketing date. You're going to market the property as coming soon on the marketing date, which is here. Okay, so you're putting 11-1 here because that's when it's coming soon. And then all this other stuff. And then in this last paragraph, the status of the listing shall be changed to active on, it should be a later date than the one up on the on 10A. Okay. So let's say she wanted to be active on 11-8, then she would put 11-8 in this paragraph. Okay. So if you're using coming soon, this is the coming soon date, and then this is the active date. Should be simple. Does it
And there's
sound?
I only know this because I did a coming soon, but there's a separate coming soon form that you have to attach, right?
Yes, absolutely. And then the coming soon form, the coming soon form is the active date. Okay, so the date that the coming soon form should say 11-8 on their active date if she was using coming soon. Okay. If it was a firm exclusive, that means they're not advertising it anywhere but in the office. Then on page 5, you could still say it's starting to be marketed in the office on 11-1. This would not be initialed, okay, because they're not authorizing you for public marketing. And none of these would be checked because none of these would apply for firm exclusive. And then on page 6, it's still a continuation of 10B. They would initial office exclusive. And then there's no marketing on the property whatsoever except in the office. So office exclusive and firm exclusive are the same thing. Okay. So that's an option. If you don't want to have coming soon, but you don't want to market it, if their date that they've signed the agreement is 10/27, but they really don't want to start showings or anything until 11-1. And that's why she has that date in there. Because if there's no date in that number 10A, then it has to be within MLS. It has to be advertised in MLS by 10/28. So within 1 day, it has to be within the MLS. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's the MLS law. So that's why even if they sign it on the 27th, as long as you have the commencement of marketing date on page 5, you're okay if it's greater than 1 day. Okay, because this is the day it's going to go into MLS as coming soon or as live, as active. Okay. So I have to, so this date has to match that coming soon date, this active date. All right. So that's one of the big things that I have to return a lot of. The other big thing that I have to return the documents for is back here in the last page, which is page 13 of the listing agreement. It's the signatures. So every signature should have a date, okay? And then these 3 things have to be on there. Even if it's the same as the property that they're listing, you need the current mailing address, you need their phone number, and their email. Okay, so make sure those are on. Even the buyer agency, they'll need their current mailing address, not the address that they're going to purchase. Okay, it needs to be their current one. That way, if something happens and Sabra needs to get a hold of them, then she can just refer to the agreement and all that information is there for them. For her, I should say. Okay. So those three things need to be on there, including in addition to the signature and date. And then down here is where the agent will sign. Make sure you have your license number, the firm's phone number, or these are correct. Okay. So it's the firm's phone number, not your phone number. Okay. Because your phone number is going to go here. And then the firm's license number here. Okay. All right. So now she's going under contract, and these are the ones that she has submitted. All of these have to be submitted in a PDF form as well. Some people put a JPEG form in here. I don't know how they get it through here, but it needs to be, it'll be corrupt. I can't even open it if it's a JPEG, like a photo or something. So I just go along and I check everything. And then if it's correct, like this is quick, I can do this. I got to make sure that it's under contract. Okay. And she's got somebody on there and I can approve it. And then there it's approved. Okay. This one, page 17, needs to be fully signed. Obviously, she doesn't have the due diligence acknowledgement. Oh, she does on the second page. So I always make sure I scroll down to see all of them. But if that's the case, if that's all she had, I would have returned this document and then I'll tell her why it's returned. And I'll show you that in another. Let me go back. Here's one that's returned. So this file was returned. It's because they're missing the square footage. So it just says missing. I had already she must have resubmitted this. This is the showing time instructions, but there's see this little dialog box right here next to the title. Okay, and originally this was a firm exclusive. Okay, and she had this in here. So I just told her if it's a firm exclusive, you obviously don't need that. But she changed it from a firm exclusive to active. Okay. And she did that by right here, this agency agreement renewal. So the way she did that is she said she terminated the firm exclusive and then put the active date. Okay. So this is amending the listing agreement. And you'll learn all that as you go. That's probably a little too much information. So anyway, so that's how that works. Let me get a buyers under here. So you'll notice here, it says new construction contract. And I wanted to point this out because a lot of people just use, so there's a lot on the buyer's side. So a lot of people will just say North Carolina sale file, even though it's a new construction. If you use a North Carolina sale file, there's a whole ton of placeholders of and required documents. And let me, I'll show you this first. This is the new construction folder that when you are working with Mattamy or Lennar or one of the other builders, new construction, use this folder, okay? And I'll show you why. You'll notice that there's not that many placeholders for new construction. Okay, there's 6 things that we need. This is South Carolina. I think there's even less in North Carolina. Because in South Carolina, we need the wire fraud. Okay, so basically that's it. It's all we need for a new construction. So don't get confused by all the other documents that may be required in a regular sale versus a new North Carolina one. So when you have a new construction contract, they're fairly long. So this one is 48 pages. Okay, and it takes me a minute to scroll down through everything and make sure everything's signed and out, all that. But in this, usually in the new construction contract is the commission agreement and the receipt for the earnest money. I need those separated out, okay? So if you have the new construction contract, and it's page 48, just print that. You want to print it to a PDF and then pick out like 48, okay? And that's the page you want, if that's the page that's the commission agreement's on. And then you'll save that as a PDF. You have to separate them out though. Okay, so his commission agreement is, see, that says broker registration and commission. So that's all on there. Tells what the percentage that he is getting, and then the signatures. All the signatures have to be on there. Same with the deposit. It's either a check or it's even in part of the agreement. And it shows how it was paid and that they've received it. Okay, so that's it for new construction. You still have to do the working with real estate agent and the buyer agency agreement. But that's, that's a pretty simple thing for new construction. Also in new construction, don't forget to get that subterranean termite new construction service record. Okay. All right, now let me go to another one that does it, another listing or a buyer. And this is just the regular now, okay? This is just the regular sale file. And you'll notice there's a lot more placeholders and a lot more there's a lot more that are required. Okay, so make sure you're using the right one. Right file. Okay. And again, I'll check all these and make sure they're all correct. And then I would make it approved. All right. Any questions so far?
No.
You do this for everybody in the office?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, how?
I checked the documents.
That is just, that's like over 500 agents though.
Well, that shows you that's not they're not all productive. All the agents aren't productive. If there were, if everybody was productive, I'm sure I would have other help, but right. Yeah. But thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I like it. Oh, you're welcome. So that's what I do. And let me think. I was going somewhere with that. Oh, okay. So you've put in all of your documents. You're coming up to closing. Now, let me. Okay, so you're coming up on the closing. Before closing, I would say 7 days before closing too. Every document should be in there. Number one, it should all be in there. Like I said, at least 7 days before closing, because I do take time off sometimes and I get a little bit behind, but that way, if you have a mistake or you're missing a document, you have time to go back to your client and get them signed and corrected prior to closing. Because you sure don't want to go back to the client after closing and say, hey, I need this document, so can you sign it? It's like, that doesn't look too good. And a lot of times they won't do it. Okay, so make sure your documents are in, all documents, make sure you're in the right folder. So in all the listing documents will go in the listed folder. And all the under contract documents will go in the under contract folder. Now, sometimes they have the agreement to amend, especially in North Carolina, the agreement to amend and the due diligence request. Don't put them in here. Don't put them in the under contract folder. If you look in the closed folder, there is the agreement to amend, due diligence, termite, all those go into the closed folder, okay? And then submit when you're through. Okay, now, what's very important, especially for you all, if you want to get paid, this tab up here is the offers and commissions tab. That needs to be done. Again, try to do it about 7 days before closing, simply because it gives Lynn a chance to get your DA number, which is a disbursement authorization number. You'll have time to correct it if you need to. I wouldn't do it too soon because conditions might change, like the seller credit to the buyer might change. So then you would have to change your offers and commissions. And if you've already submitted it and she's already approved it, you'll need to go back to Lynn and say, would you terminate that, please? And then, you have to start all over. So if it's not submitted, you can change it. So that's why I said, if you can submit it around 7 days before closing, when everything's pretty secure and there's probably not going to be any more changes until closing, then please do this. It's the offers and commissions. So you'll have an offer here that you'll have to answer these questions, okay? You just go through, and it's a prompt. You just go through. The ones that are needed are the ones with the little asterisk on it, such as the buyer's name and the other agent's name. Okay. Obviously in the buyers, if you have a buyer, it'll be the seller's name and the other agent's name. Okay, so she put the offer in, the finance amount is probably, you don't have to separate them out if it's part cash, part finance, just put it all in finance. If it's all cash, obviously just put it all in all cash. Put the earnest money amount, option fee, I put the due diligence fee in there. I don't think that matters, but, and then the close date, and let's see, it usually says the contract date. But anyway, you'll put it's going to ask you for the contract date. Then it'll ask you for agent analysis. If you want to give an analysis on the agent that you worked with, the co-agent, like in this case, it would be Mr. Jenkins. you can do that there. Otherwise, you can skip that part and just go in to the next screen, and then you have to accept that offer. Okay. So this timeline could be all offers, and the ones, you can say you did not accept, did not accept, did not accept, but you'll have a running list of all the offers you received on that property. But only accept the one that you actually accepted, because then you'll have two buttons here. It'll say accept offer, and then it'll say manage commission. So that's the important one. You have to click on that. You manage commission, and it'll bring you to this screen. Okay. And this is the one, this will be in red. You'll have to add the contract date again. Make sure you've got the right commission amount in here. Okay. 1 unit, that means it's only you getting paid. If you're working with someone, it'll be half a unit and half a unit, or however you split it. Especially for the inter-office referral, like if somebody from the office referred you to, Joe Smith to sell this property, it's your total unit. Let's say she wants a 25% referral fee, you would go 0.75 and then add another agent, and it would be 0.25. Okay. So make sure the unit's correct, the close date's correct. And then what happens is it calculates it all out for you. Okay. And then you have to come over here. And this says approve already, but it will say submit. Okay. You have to submit that, because then that's when it goes to Lynn, and she'll be able to assign you a number. This has not been assigned yet because she didn't hit approve yet. But there's a little method that she does, and it goes into the system. Okay. So, and then you don't forget to hit submit. Any questions on that?
I have just a question on all the forms. But
Okay.
the question is, okay, this will be my first submission by you.
Okay.
So I've got a lot of information in. I wonder if I can send it maybe tonight, tomorrow. Will that be time consuming if you got it and you saw their returns or something wasn't complete?
What-
Will it be time consuming to you to go through it and it looks like it's halfway or not halfway? I have
Yeah.
a lot in,
Yeah.
and I have some more I think I need to put in, but does
Okay.
it have to be 100%?
No.
Because I'm
No.
at the 7 days now that you're referring to.
Okay. Yeah. No, but make sure that all the documents are in, well before closing.
Okay,
Yeah. And obviously this being so when are you closing? Next Tuesday?
Thursday.
Next
the
Thursday?
30th.
Yeah. Because I'll be off a little bit on tomorrow, and then obviously Thursday's the holiday. So yeah, get them in. I won't be that far behind.
Okay,
If you want to submit them now, just hit submit on your thing, and it'll come to me today, and I'll be able to let you know what's missing. It's kind of nice because then you know exactly what you need.
okay, I'll do that today.
Yeah.
Now, with these, do the people who have they're getting paid through their LLC, do they have to do anything different, or they just submit it as like an individual agent, have the individual agent license number on the documents, and then Lynn does something later?
Let me see. I think you would submit it. I think she knows that. I think she'll let you, she should let you know.
Okay.
Or does she know you have an LLC?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But my previous closings have been under my own name before I got my LLC. So I was just wondering, do I just continue to write out the paperwork how I do, and then she kind of knows?
Why don't you check with her, if
Okay.
you will, because I think you'll have to put it in a different, like you'll have to change your command to your LLC.
Oh,
And then,
okay.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
check with her for sure. I'm not exactly sure how that works.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So now you have it a listing. Everybody know how to get from DocuSign to the to command, right?
Yes.
Okay. Does everybody use DocuSign, or does some people use Dotloop?
I just use DocuSign.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's easier. I mean, you have to pay for Dotloop anyway. So if you can get used to DocuSign, it works. So yeah, get your documents in. What'll happen, I can't do it here. Let me see. Because you can download them and then upload them into from the computer, or you can do your see. So if I have documents in here, I'm going to get my files from DocuSign and from the Room Docs. Okay. So if I had, and let's say I had a septic permit. So if I click there, all the documents in that room are going to be shown. Okay. Everything from the blank forms to the certificates of completion, to everything. Okay. What you need to do is make sure that you have the right one. So what I do in DocuSign a lot is I'll rename it. So if you can see, I put FE. So fully executed right to sell. I know that it's been signed by all parties. Okay. That makes it easier to know which one is needed for that placeholder. Because I'll get a lot of them where the seller hasn't signed and you have it, you just put the wrong one in there. Okay. So make sure that you've got the right one. And then of course, if you have it from your computer, you can go here from your computer and then browse. It'll bring up all your documents and you pick the one that you wanted to put in there and just double click and it'll go into that one. Okay. Any questions? I think I've covered it all. Just make sure that you do your offers and commissions. Make sure all your documents are in before 7 days before closing. And huh? Did somebody say something?
No, that was me. I apologize. I took my
Oh,
phone
okay.
off.
Oh, okay. In your details section, make sure that you have the address right here in this property, because that's how we can find it easier that way. And if you can, put the address in the opportunity name. That helps us find your opportunity faster if we need to, okay? Now, let me see something. If you click go to transaction on there, oh, well, that's weird. Okay, let me do this. I'm going to bring this over. Can you see now a DocuSign room?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how this technology works. So in this room, if in your rooms, okay, if you click detail when you first start and put in as much information in here as you can, okay? So in other words, this is the seller. If she would have his address in here, even though it's the same as the other one, if that address is here, it's going to auto-populate on the form, okay? So as many details as you can get in the detail section, okay, the better it will be in completing those forms, because the forms then, like I said, will auto-populate with everything that's on here, which makes it much more convenient when having to fill out those forms to send to your client. Okay. So always, before you start your documents, go into the details section and put as much stuff as you can in here. Okay. And don't forget to hit way at the bottom. It'll click. If you're editing it, click save. Okay. And this is all the documents then. Okay. All right. Well, I believe that's all I have. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm sorry I was late.
Thank you so much for this.
You're
Now-
welcome.
Now,
you.
I think like a long time ago, like I think there was an email where you help agents when they're in these transactions and you can do a fee. Is that still, do you still do that?
Yeah, the
Well-
transaction coordination. Yes. You would set
Okay.
that up with the Julia Designs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for a fee. It's $300 a transaction. That I would put, actually, if you just want me to put your documents in command, it's $200.
Okay.
That would be, I wouldn't really have any part of your negotiate. I don't do any negotiations anyway, but like I wouldn't schedule any inspections or, keep you on track on like that. But I could put the documents in command for you and make sure they're all in there on time and correct for $200.
But if we went all of it, it's 300. Like if you do like
Yeah.
the inspections, all that stuff. Really?
Exactly. Yes.
I didn't know you would do all that. I thought it was just for the forms and everything. Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Nope. And yeah, so if you go to juliadesigns.com/TC, transaction coordinator, you can get that information there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out and thanks for, waiting for me. So, you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great day. Are you all staying for the luncheon today?
No, I'm not in office today.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
in this today.
Oh, you're missing out. It's really good. So, okay, everybody
Happy
have a great
Thanksgiving.
time. Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Thank
Welcome.
you.